on this topic. This is something I've been diving into recently as I am selling. I started a new coaching membership, which I'll definitely tell you ladies about because I think some of you might be interested in joining. And in starting that membership, I really had to step into my sales shoes, which I hadn't really had to do even as a business owner. This is a very different way of selling. And so I've been learning a lot, and I've been bringing a lot of ladies into the membership. And I thought, you know what, this feels like a really perfect thing to bring to other women, because I know it can be really hard and like sort of weird, especially selling through like social media, and you kind of have to be a bit direct. But I've been sort of learning different ways to do it where it's very genuine and authentic and very purpose-based and passion-based. So it feels good and it really resonates. But before we jump into that, I think you guys can probably, okay, there we go. Before we jump into that, I just wanted to sort of reintroduce myself. So yes, I'm a published author as of April of this year. So exciting. This actually isn't my main book. I have a full book that I've written. I actually wrote while I traveled for 8 months last year. But that's going to be pitched to publishers in the fall. So this was sort of like a teaser book. So it's super cheap. It's really, really short. It's called 10 Questions That Answer Life's Biggest Questions, all filled with the questions that have helped me manage like really challenging situations and decisions in my life, and help me sort of question the status quo, because so often we say that's just how it is, when really there's so much we can do to change the situation for ourselves. I also started a podcast. COVID was like creative overload for me, so I did a lot of stuff during quarantine apparently. I launched a podcast during quarantine as well, called Mindset Reset Radio, and that's all about living life with intention. And so my guests talk about different areas where we can bring more intention, like managing burnout. We just did an episode on allyship and anti-racism and how we can be more intentional about that in our lives. So we sort of covered the gamut, and that's on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. And also I have a few episodes, and I'm consistently adding more to Insight Timer, if you like that meditation app. And then I have my content marketing agency where I help small business owners, well, usually medium level business owners, work with like CMOs and content directors to create content, do SEO work for them, social media strategy, email marketing, sort of anything that falls under the umbrella of organic content marketing. So anything not paid is what I do. And then I just founded the Marketing from the Gut, Mindset Mastery, and Instagram Strategy membership coaching program, which I'm super, super, super stoked about. I'll tell you more about it later after we get through all of the sales stuff. But we already have 15 ladies in the membership, and our first call's on August 5th. So I'm looking to really get as many women as we can in, because I know how valuable it is. So let's jump in. I keep doing that. So today's agenda, I want to talk about 3 strategies for connecting before making the sale. So this is where we sort of avoid the cold sales pitch, which I don't know about you, but I get a lot of those in my Instagram messages. And I really dislike them. I know where they're coming from. I get it. They see me and they think maybe I'm a good fit for their product, and perhaps I am, but like at least try a little bit. And like a regular salesperson on a phone would ease into the pitch before they make it. My number one strategy for being more genuine with your sales pitch, I've tried a lot of strategies because it's just me. I'm constantly pivoting and trying something new if something doesn't seem to be working. And I'm finding, based on feedback that I'm getting from the people I'm pitching, a few ways that you can be super genuine, and that really comes across. And then finally, the confidence equation. So the way that we can sort of put all this together to sell in a very purpose-driven, a very passion-forward way. So you're selling to the right people, you're selling using your why as the foundation, and really connecting with people rather than just saying, buy my product or sign up for my service. So I thought this quote, maybe you've heard this quote before, by Simon Sinek, famous author, entrepreneur. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, and what you do simply proves what you believe. So I really like this as the basis for the way I approach sales, which is that something that I've been told to me, something that's been told to me a bunch of times is, I wanted to join the program because of your energy. I really loved your energy. I looked at your post and I just got such a good vibe from you. And so that made me realize, what can I do to make that, to be sort of energy forward, because that's what works for me. So people are buying because they like me. They also think the membership is valuable, but they want to work with me. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this, and as you're considering selling through Instagram. How can you sell from your most authentic place based on what you know people are really, what really drives people to you? So energy for me has been a constant, a fun exercise for you to do if you've never done this before, to figure out what is that thing that magnetizes people to you, is to ask 5 to 6, or however many you want, but at least 5 of your very, very closest friends, and say, when I walk into a room, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For me, every single person that I asked said energy. Someone said lightning bolt. Someone said, you know, you're there. And so that's sort of been like a running theme for me. And it wasn't until I started selling like this that I realized that that could be a real benefit, because people really like that and they want to be able to sort of take that energy. So that's a fun little exercise you can do yourself to sort of figure out what is that secret sauce that you have to magnetize people to you. So starting with the 3 strategies for connecting, and I have lots of examples in here. This lovely, lovely lady is in my membership. So the biggest thing that I've been doing, and I started doing this before the membership, is sending a welcome message to my new followers. So you can see up in the top, this is my copied message, and I'll tell you how to create these super easily if you've never done it in Instagram. It's actually a relatively new feature. So, hey girl, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome to our powerful community of intention getters. That's what I call the people in my Instagram community, intention getters. What are you currently working on? So it gives you a connection point. You can find out what they're working on. You show genuine interest in what they do, sort of, because then that brings you into a conversation about what they do and what they love, what they're struggling with. And for me, what feels most important is making them feel like they belong. As someone who I personally really strive to get that feeling of belonging in the communities that I'm a part of, I want to make sure people that are in my community feel that, and especially the ladies in my membership. I want to make sure everyone feels like they belong. And so this is a perfect example of, I actually used this. I think 3 women that are in the membership converted from starting with this message. And so I found out that she is into mindset, so that gives her a good connection to my membership, which is a blend of mindset and strategy. And she's a coach, so she knows the value of coaching. And she's working on creating a course and starting to do one-on-one sessions. So now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I know a lot about you that I can bring into my pitch. And also asking a follow-up question is really key here. And then trying to find something you can connect on. So she said, no, I do other part-time work. And I said, I did that for a long time too. So that was a good connection point for us to then continue the conversation. Often I will start pitching when they respond and they'll say, what are you working on? If it seems like the right time to jump right in, I'll jump into my pitch. And I'll show you, again, that's sort of like a pre-templated thing that I have saved through Instagram. And sometimes I'll give it a few, like if it seems like if they didn't ask me, I'll give it a few more messages back and forth before diving into that. Because again, I also don't want them to think I'm just reaching out to them just to sell to them. Because like technically I kind of am, but also I want to connect with them. Yes, exactly. So looking to the messages. So the reason I wanted to show you this is because it's really easy to set up quick replies. So quick replies are essentially like as if you had copy and pasted from like your note app in your phone or something, except it's way easier. So this is how you get there. For any of you who have your phone out right now, if you want to play with this, go to your settings, just regular settings, hit business, then quick replies, and you get here. And you can add one with the plus sign up on the top. So the way it works is you put in your full message, so you can see my intro message here, and then you create a shortcut. I mean, that could be even shorter. It could just be a W, but I put welcome because that helps me remember. And so when I type welcome, a little bubble pops up in my text box, and I click the bubble, and then it populates the message. And then you can customize it from there. So I do that with my welcome message, The message over, if you look under quick replies, it says IG. That's my pitch. That sort of gives like the very intro. And then I say to the girl, I'll say to whoever I'm talking to, do you mind if I share more details? This sounds like this may be perfect for you. That's when I launched into something else that I'll tell you about. And then I have another one for reaching out to people who I'm not actually connected with, but I think they'd be a good fit for the membership. So when I type love, that pops in and it basically just says, similar to the first message, I love what you're doing and what your message is. What are you working on? So just getting the conversation going. But this is a really easy way to do that. So it's way less time consuming, and you can write out a really nice message and not have to remember it every time, or even go into another app to get it. I'm all about making our lives easier and more streamlined. So that's how you can set up a welcome message and even your pitch message. And so moving forward, engaging with their content. So this is a second strategy for connecting, again, before you're doing the pitch. Now, this isn't before the pitch, but I had connected with her before. But this is a good example over here on the right. I've been talking with her for a while, and like, she's still not necessarily going to say yes, but I want to stay front of mind so that ideally she's going to flip over and end up being a conversion. So in this example, I actually shared her post because it really resonated with me. I liked what it was. But if you don't have to share their content, leave a genuine response on their posts, not just emojis or single word, which proves that you did not read anything that they wrote. Comment on their stories, even if you don't share anything, going through and just commenting. And that's one where you can sort of be more, you could just do like a bunch of whatever these are called, like, yes, queen. You could do a bunch of those, just to, again, get in front of them. Your goal is to get in front of them in a way that doesn't feel like you're trying to sell to them, and you're just engaging and building your community, which is valuable no matter what. And I think I wrote something down here. Oh yeah, these are all ways to start a conversation naturally. So again, we just want to be natural and genuine in our sales tactics, and we can still sell while doing that. Next, this is a really fun one, and I actually can't give you any results from it because it's something that I'm just testing, but it's something that can be done really no matter what your business is, and it's also a great way to build your community, which is I'm actively building my community while selling this membership. So it's to run a free challenge. The idea being that you're showing potential clients or members or whatever what you have to offer without asking for anything in return. And Instagram's a great platform for doing that because you can have all the great graphics like I have here. You can also use video. You can post it in your stories and in your feed, depending on what you want to do. So my challenge is cultivating connection. And so this is actually something, and this is just like a tip that doesn't really have to do with sales, but that has to do with marketing, is repurposing. So I'm actually I've been saving this to my highlights, and I might actually turn this into, take all the videos that I post to my stories each day, explaining the background and helping people get started for what they're going to do for that challenge for the day. I think I'm actually going to put all of that into a freebie and actually put it on my site for free download as well. So just as like a tip for you ladies who are hustling your butt off to make amazing content and create all this stuff, remember to repurpose in any way that you can. You could also run this as an email challenge to get people to sign up. You could run it through Facebook. You could do it on any of your platforms. You just make the most of what you're creating. And so this challenge really gets to the heart of what I'm doing with my membership, which is what I want to remind you. If you're going to run a challenge, you want it to be very closely related to what you're trying to sell, because you want to be able to show people kind of what they can expect when they work with you or when they join your group or whatever the case may be. So for me, cultivating connection, this is all about the 3 days, and actually I can show you. So the 3 days, yesterday was understanding your stories. So digging deeper into what you've been through. And so I have actually like 5 or 6 categories. If you go into my highlights, it might still be there in my story, but it might be gone now. If you go into my highlights, you'll see the video. I run through these, I think it's probably like 7 different sort of areas of your story, because as an entrepreneur, you're likely the face of your brand. And so your stories are what matter, especially for coaches. You want people to be able to connect with you, and they're going to connect with you when you're being authentic and vulnerable through storytelling. And so the point was to break out your stories to sort of get some more content, because there are probably a lot of things you forget about as part of your story. Day 2 is connecting those stories to your business, because a lot of what I talk about with clients is we're on here for business. So how does what you're doing connect with what you're selling? And day 3, putting it together. So talking about how to actually write an engaging story in your caption. So all of this is very connected to what my membership is all about, which is that blend of mindset and strategy, really putting your most authentic self out there, knowing that you, when you're selling as well, are your greatest asset. And so how can you leverage that most effectively? So the number one way to be more genuine is something that I really struggled with, because I don't want to come off as salesy. As I said, I don't like those sort of random DMs. So that's using video and voice messages. Yes, it's tiring. After 2 weeks of sending the same voice message over and over and over again, I was freaking exhausted. My husband will hear me like sending my voice message, which is essentially my full pitch. And he keeps saying, he's like, wow, you really got that pitch down. I'm like, well, when you say it 50 times in 2 weeks, you kind of really get it figured out. And video has been really good too, because it gets me in front of them. And again, because people have said that they like my feed, I just want to give them every chance they can to connect with me. And video is an even more genuine connection, because they can also see that like I'm a real human, like in my house, you know, no makeup on, just like a totally normal person, not like a bot or, you know, someone who's just out to get the sale. So you can do this all right within Instagram, which is super easy. You can record voice message up to 1 minute at a time. So my pitch is usually 3 voice messages, about 3 minutes long. And then the videos I use sometimes for follow-up. So for example, she hadn't responded, you can see to my voice message up here. So I wanted to send her a video message to make sure that she really actually sees me. And you can set your video message. It automatically sets, actually, if you record it within Instagram, it automatically sets to stay in the chat like this. So you can rewatch it, watch it. You can set it to essentially expire after it's been watched, or you can set it to replay once. I set to keep it just in case they watch it the first time and they don't really pay attention. I want to make sure they can get all the information I have to share. So again, yeah, it takes time, but once you do it, and it's, I guess, maybe a little nerve-wracking, but even if I mess up on when I'm pitching, I just like laugh about it. And again, I think that it really humanizes me, and makes the sales aspect feel a little less like, I don't know, sleazy and stiff. And the confidence equation. So in selling, when you're selling with passion and purpose, this is what I like to really focus on. So the first step of this equation is to know your ideal customer avatar. And I don't really like the word avatar because it's businessy, but it was just the best way to put it in this equation. But just knowing who your ideal customer is. So that way, when you even go to reach out and you go to do your pitch, it's not going to fall on deaf ears. You're actually genuinely reaching someone who you believe can really benefit, because that's also going to come across in your pitch. When you feel authentically like this person can really benefit from whatever you have to offer, I feel like you're more likely to come across that way. So making sure that you're super, super clear. And that could mean literally sitting down with a journal and writing out all of the characteristics of your ideal customer. And if you don't know who that is, just think about your favorite person you've ever worked with. What are the characteristics of that person? Age, gender, personality, what do they do? So you can start pulling out more of that sort of avatar of who the person is. A clear why. So this is so important for me. My why, my big, like scary, like almost embarrassed to tell people why, which we should all have at least one of those, is to raise the vibration of the world. And again, I hate saying that because I feel like it sounds cheesy, but really when I think about it, I firmly believe in my heart that empowered women empower women. I've been empowered my whole life, and I feel as though I really empower the people around me. That's what I try to do. And so when I empower someone else and they empower someone else, their vibration rises. And so ideally, we're all raising the vibration of the world one by one by one. So the more women I can impact, the more I can raise the vibration, the more I can make my why a real thing. I can really bring it to life. And so I constantly fall back on that because you're going to get a lot of no's. For me, these are a lot of the responses I've been getting. I'm already in a coaching program. It sounds amazing, but just not maybe amazing for me. I'm just not ready right now. Those are like the three main ones that I get. And so I really have to, in those moments, instead of feeling personally attacked, I have to fall back on my big why and then channel that to send a rebuttal, essentially, for lack of a better word. So my response back might be, this can be really great for supplementing your current coaching, or it's not going to take a lot of your time. You really are only committed to 2 hours a month, which are the 2 live coaching calls. And then you can engage with our community through Instagram as much or as little as you want. So keeping that why front and center, so it keeps pushing you forward when you might otherwise fall back or give up, which is really easy to do with sales, especially if it's new. I've never been a salesperson, and I have a totally new respect for them after doing the work that I've been doing, because it's not easy. And then genuine outreach, like we talked about. So when you're reaching out from a genuine place, you really feel they're a good fit for you. You know the power of what you're offering. You have this very clear why. You can feel so much more confident reaching out to these people because you know that what you're offering will most definitely benefit their life. I know for certain that the work that we're going to do in the membership is going to go far, far beyond Instagram. The mindset work is going to impact their business, their life, their relationships. And so for me, I'm doing them a service by telling them about the program because it's going to benefit them. And I'm very clear on who that ideal potential member is. And so I know for sure when I'm reaching out to them, I'm reaching someone who, if they were willing to invest, which it's only $25.99, specifically priced pretty low because most coaching programs are really expensive. I know that it's going to benefit them. So when you put these things together, all of a sudden it doesn't feel icky. You're not reaching out to people who it's not going to benefit. You're selling from a place of service. And that's been a really big shift for me in selling, is coming from that place of service. So if that's something new for you as well, I actually have a really great meditation I can share with you. I'll send it to Phoebe and she can send it to you guys afterward. That's really beneficial in terms of making that shift to more of a service-based shift. And when working with people like this, if you're a coach or you work with clients one-on-one, coming from that place of service really expands into your business and into selling in a way that I've found to be incredibly beneficial. And I never really thought about that before because I really just worked with businesses and they just needed me to write for them or something. So it was just a very different experience. So that's the confidence equation. Pretty simple. And we're pretty much done. So wrapping it all up, connecting before trying to make the sale. So that's getting those welcome messages set up, and you can create a bunch of them that maybe is different for each of your different avatars. Engaging regularly, so making time to engage with their stories, with their content, sharing if it feels relevant to you. I mean, a story share, especially to maybe someone who doesn't get a lot of engagement, is like the world. So it really means a lot for them. Or maybe a free challenge. And remember, if you do a challenge like that, to really repurpose as much as possible, because you're going to put a lot of time into it. And I want to make sure that you get the most out of the content you're creating. Be genuine using videos and voice messages. Don't be afraid if your hair is messy and you don't have makeup on. It's just going to make you even more relatable and probably going to make them like you a lot more. And don't worry about messing up in your VM. A little pro tip, if you're leaving, sometimes I've been leaving a voice message and I just start going down a rabbit hole and I'm like, oh, this is so bad. If you slide your finger all the way to the left, that will delete it. So you should, at least on Android, I guess I don't know for iPhone, maybe test it with a friend first. But you just keep your finger on it and slide it all the way over and it deletes it. I've done that a lot of times. So there's usually ways to go back if you've really gone down a bad place. And then use the confidence equation to convert more and feel just so good, really stepping into that why, to that place of service, So you know for certain that you are genuinely offering something of value. And if you don't feel like you're offering something of value, my recommendation is to get back to the drawing board and figure out why you're doing what you're doing and why it matters. Because unless you really believe in it, your sales are not going to be genuine and authentic. It's just not possible if you don't connect with it. And here's just a quick thing about working with me in case you're interested. I do offer a 5-week program for $2,500. That's one-on-one. We're literally screen sharing back and forth. I'm teaching you exactly how to do what to do based on what you need. And I write out a 5-week plan before we get started based on what you're struggling with or what you're looking for support with. But the coaching membership is way, way less expensive, specifically because my goal is just to get so many people into this program. So it's $25.99 a month. You get 2 live coaching calls, one on mindset and one on Instagram strategy. And the Instagram strategy one will be very action oriented and very more of a training than a coaching. You also get to be part of our members only engagement group, which is incredible. The ladies in there have been so amazing and really connecting. It's just a group message on Instagram because I want to keep it super, super simple. If you have a new post, you let us know. We go engage with your content and give really thoughtful, authentic engagement to sort of help you boost some of your numbers initially while you're continuing to build your community. And then we just empower one another and share with one another. A few ladies have been doing their first Instagram videos, which can be really scary if you've never done it before. So a lot of them have been sharing about that and cheering each other on. And then throughout the course of working with me, there'll be templates and worksheets and things that will help you get organized because I'm an organized freak. And I will also be doing Instagram audits at the end of the second call each month. You can sign up ahead of time and I'll just do a 2 to 3 minute breakdown. So I'll pick 2 people at the top of the list and say, this is what seemed to be working. This is not working. Here are my suggestions. So you can take those away and really make some quick changes that will ideally help you optimize what you're doing right away. That's the program. I am offering it to you ladies using the code VSET for $19.99 instead of $25.99. I don't even have the price right there. But that is only until midnight tomorrow. So you would need to register before tomorrow at midnight to get that price. And that would be your price for life. So you would never pay the $25.99. You would always pay $19.99 for as long as you're in the membership. And there's no required time to be in the membership. Right now, it's just open enrollment. If you want to cancel, it's super, super easy to do that right through your email. You can do that whenever you want. So that's the program that I'm super stoked about. That's been teaching me so much about selling. If you want to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, of course, at Jessica Thiefels. LinkedIn, just search my name. Twitter, J Thiefels. My blog has tons and tons of marketing content, social media, blog, you name it. And then I also have a resources section with tons of free downloads that you can use to get organized and do competitive research and all that fun marketing stuff. And that's it. We're early.
Awesome, Jessica.